Howdy, Sim the World here. We are back with the Farming Simulator 19 series in the Alpine expansion, where we're working on our dairy farm. Of course, last episode you saw I took all those contracts to harvest, including our own. Well, this is all the straw we collected, or at least all the straw that we're keeping from our field, in addition to a couple others. I will mention that I believe I took contracts, 4, 3, 2, 5, and 14, or is 16. So what I ended up doing was I canceled 5. What I found that there is still the issue with the precision farming, where you do the contract, and even though it's a contract, all these fields are at 65%, or even look at the field 16. 16 is bouncing between 65 and 60%. So our yield on the fields weren't matching what the requirement of, I think, 75% of the return to complete it. So I had issues with those. I think going forward, we're not doing any more contract harvest jobs, which is okay, because I think going forward, we're going to have a couple more fields to harvest of our own. And I want to play around with the precision farming going forward. So it's a win-win. We did what we needed, but other than that, we filled up our straw, or mostly filled it up, that's for sure. We've got 80,000 liters of milk. Boy, they're starved for milk in town. I'm just waiting until the sell price is higher. I think currently it's average. It's nothing special. Like, we can always get 1,400 for it, I feel like, which is still a good price. That's still going to be, a good 130, 140 $1,000. So it's not chump change. That's going to buy us our new barn, depending which one we choose. So nothing to worry about there. Also wanted to mention cows. We're up to 48 cows, and they're still producing, so we need that new barn this winter for sure. That's happening. Be sure to check out that video. I think it's 2 episodes past, episode 36, where we've got the different options we can choose, and you can comment and let me know. Of course, in doing all those contracts, I still have a trailer load of straw. And this isn't just any straw. I know, 20 bales doesn't sound like a lot until you realize that these 20 bales are 20 bales that I increased the bale limit, and not just to the 8,000. I was dodging a lot of rain. I was dodging, for the past 2 days, trying to harvest, trying to do it while it was dry and all that good stuff. And it was difficult, so I kind of was like, you know what, this is something we're just going to sell anyhow. So I bumped these bales specifically up to 20,000 liters each. So we've got 400,000 liters of straw. I don't know what's a good price for straw right now, though. The locations on the map, I think Seasons kind of blocks it out and zeroes everything out, because straw isn't something they really, want you selling. The focus is it's not really worth anything. Most farmers have that naturally in their fields if they do that sort of thing, or if they need it. I know here in the States it's more common. A lot of farmers will just buy the hay bales or things that they need rather than going through the trouble of producing it, because sometimes you don't have the time for that. But we're going to sell this straw. We're going to see what we get for it. I think the sort still works, so this should be the highest sell location. It seems to be typically, but you never know. Yeah, we got to sell our manure too. We've got a lot of manure to sell, and we're going to have to do it before selling that barn. I have a feeling I'm just going to do it in the middle of winter, and there's not a lot of money you can get for it, but any money will help. So let's see how much we get for the straw. This is a mystery to you and me. Oh, $26,000. That is quite a chunk of change. We're almost up to $200,000 again. I feel like we've got money. So nice. I'm just going to cut across this field because I'm not sure who owns it, but they don't do much with it. I've never seen it mowed. I've been slightly considering, picking up some of these grass fields to purchase and bale for silage. But, with seasons enabled especially, the silage prices just don't make sense to me, and I'd rather buy some more fields now than focus on, the grass and baling. Of course, I say that, but we also have a baling contract out right now I had picked up. We have all the equipment. We invested very heavily into the baling technology early on, so it makes sense to get that kind of taken care of. And that's kind of the plan for today. The grass is still wet. It was raining last night, which is another reason why I just, instead of harvesting contracts, let me get these baling contracts. Doesn't matter if the grass is wet, we can cut it. Doesn't matter if it's raining when we bale it, because it's all silage. Just going to help it ferment that much quicker. I think that's how it works anyhow. I'm sure that moisture has to do something. So we're going to head down over to the field, and I'll meet you guys there. It is field 15. And we'll get that started. We're at field 20. I'm going to start mowing this. We may have mowed this in the past, but this isn't going to be the full video. I'm just bringing you along to kind of talk about some of the future plans too. I know I'd like to get a sprayer for the weeds. As you can see here, even in this field, there's weeds sprouting all over the place. There's some dead grass, things like that. It's stuff I kind of want to be more conscientious of going forward. Since we've got the money, since we've got the land, the goal is, of course, to get at least 100% efficiency on the field, or at least 100% return on our yield. I think it goes up to 125%. So I think we can do a lot better than 100%, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there, for sure. This is also kind of learning how the precision farming interacts, especially with seasons. I've played around a little bit with the precision farming just to get an idea of how typically you'd fertilize a field twice, and that's all you have to do, just 2 different applications. However, this one, the timing is important when you do it, especially when you have to plow, put lime down. You're balancing the ratios. Of course, it's all done automatically. You can have the machines automatically set for the soil type once we get that tested, which we'll be doing that in an episode very soon here. We have to test the land to see what types of soil it is, and then from there we know how much to apply and how much not to apply. And that all affects the production rate and our total possible yield. Of course, not all land type, not all soil types have the option of going to 125% yield. It's also complicated, but at the same time it makes it seem a lot more realistic. And I know I see the irony as I just drove through the fence and traffic signs as I'm talking about the realism of this game. But at least for the farming aspect, that's what I'm worried about. If we glitch through some walls, if we have to drive through a fence without barriers, it's part of the game, because in real life you'd have a lot more room. I don't think this is all proportionally as accurate as it might be depicted, but so we'll do that. We need the sprayer. We'll get the equipment. I'm thinking about just leasing the testing equipment to test our field. I think it's like $10,000 or $13,000 to buy the equipment to actually test it, and that's just not worth it in my mind. Yeah, you can see up on the screen. I'll throw that up, and you can see that it's important. It's going to, you know, going from the 60% yield, and of course it can continue to drop. I think it drops down to 50% if you just kind of do nothing with your field. So you lose half your possible crop of, you know, just doing it the right way because you don't use any fertilizer or you don't plow and use lime, things like that. It adds up. So we'll try to do it right. That way we can kind of figure it out for you guys if you're playing along, if you're trying to figure out precision farming too. See if it's something you want to play with, or if you just want to go the standard route. So now I'm bailing. I'm trying to cruise through this as quick as we can just because rain is coming this afternoon, and as much as I'd like to, or as much as I really don't care about bailing in the rain since this isn't our stuff, I am concerned about the video quality. I've noticed, not only with mine, but other YouTubers' videos with Farming Simulator, if it's raining, there's just so many particles on the screen. When YouTube compresses these files down, it just kind of loses all its integrity, and it looks pretty trash. Of course, there's nothing I can do about that. These files, when I make them, they're like 14, 15 gigabyte files just for the video, so I'm sure YouTube is not a fan of that and wants to compress them any way they can. So, with that said, I'm going to try to avoid as much as possible having us record in the rain. Of course, that means you guys won't be seeing us deliver this, which really isn't a big deal. You guys have seen us deliver plenty of silage bales. The only thing I'll mention with this, you can see we're doing the white bale, the white wrapper for the bales, since these are contract bales, and since we're doing silage, the way silage works, you have to let it ferment in seasons before you can use it. This does not apply to contracts. We'll be able to deliver the bales for the contract with that issue. But what we do have to do is any extras that we get, if we just take them all to the sell location, we won't get any money for it, because we'll be essentially selling, you know, delivering the bales for the contract, but then we'll also be delivering, you know, 5 or 6 extra bales, which are just wet grass wrapped. Yeah, you can see it's raining now. Now it's wet grass. They won't give us any money for that, so it's in our best interest to only deliver what they need for the contract. Now, of course, if you're playing the regular version without seasons, you can take this all straight to the sell location. As soon as it's wrapped, it's instantly turned into silage, and from that point you'll get all your money and any extra money for the extra bales that you get from the job. Because of course you get the extra money from, if you look at the field, like this is the field proportions, you only need 75% of it to get delivered, so you get like 25% of it. And in addition, I try to catch some of the extra sections along the edges. Maybe you get an extra bale or 2 out of that. It's all stuff that's going to feed our cattle when that time comes. Our silage pit is getting empty, and I expect to go through that by the end of winter. But with all that said, it is raining, so I think this is a good point to kind of finish up my contract here. We'll get these bales dropped off both at our barn, and the ones we have to deliver will deliver. I'll catch you guys in autumn. This was kind of like the mid-month, you know, there's so much going on. I wanted to do an update video, and I had to get that the loader unloaded. We had all those straw bales. To keep them dry, I had to keep them in the garage on the transport wagon, so it was a win-win. Got to show you guys selling it, and I got it off the farm, and I'll be able to pick up all these bales. So with all that said, thanks for watching as I simulate my life one game at a time. If you enjoy this video, please be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss any of the future action. You can follow on Twitter for updates to future games being played, as well as follow on Twitch, as I'll occasionally stream live. Thanks, and I'll see you next time at Sim the world.